pruning is in order. So that's what you're experiencing, young man. Stay in your lane, brother.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Orlando, and we have Dave Ramsey telling Steve Harvey, stay in your lane. I am the one. This is crazy. Let's jump into this and break this down.
Family Feud, long-running show. And as you know, there's different families. They feud against each other, hence the name Family Feud.
I haven't watched it since Richard Dawson was the host.
Wow. What was that, the 60s? When was that?
I think he's dead now. And there's a new guy hosting it, right?
Yes, Steve Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
You know him. So Steve Harvey's hosting this show, and one of the contestants that's a part of this family, the question was all about a milestone that you'd love to achieve.
Let's play the clip.
Let's play it. Play that, James.
Give me a milestone people achieve they can be proud of.
Well, one day, I would like to have no debt.
Yes.
That's not gonna happen. Debt is okay. OPM, other people's money, is how you get rich. You use other people's money, not yours.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about Dave Ramsey. First of all, you know, Dave acted like, who is he? Who? Steve Harvey? Who? I've never heard it again. Oh yeah, you know, the condescending tone of Dave Ramsey. I haven't really watched too much of his content, but it does seem a little bit on the condescending side. Maybe that's his style and whatnot. I've seen a lot of Dave Ramsey stuff through his books and some other things that he preaches and stuff on when it comes to financial success and freedom and all this other stuff. But then we have this scenario here with Steve Harvey saying, use other people's money, right? And the guy is saying that, you know, hey, I want to be out of debt. That's what I want to do. And I think where Steve Harvey messed up on this is the fact that he was talking from a perspective of where he currently is. And I think a lot of times people just in general don't really want to invest. They just kind of just want to get rid of all of their debt. And we know that a guy like Dave Ramsey, his mortal enemy is any personal debt. He hates credit cards. He hates car loans, mortgages, anything that's a debt he hates. So he will tell you 100%, I can almost guarantee it, that, oh, this is horrible. What are you talking about? Let's see what he says.
Dave, I want to punch something, and you're the closest thing next to me, and so I'm going to refrain.
You know, here's the thing. If you're a game show host, that's cool. But you probably ought to just like host the game show and not give out financial advice, for one thing. The second thing you shouldn't do is give out financial advice if you're $25 million in debt to the IRS.
You just airing out some laundry here, Dave?
I'm just saying, when you Google Steve Harvey, you find out he's $25 million in debt to the IRS. So if you're $25 million in debt to the IRS, when it comes to money advice, you should shut up. You really should not open your yap. And on top of that, be a dream killer for a young guy.
Yeah.
That's what gets you on this show. I mean, if you want to just be stupid and $25 million in debt to the IRS and have your little game show, that's fine. But when you're a dream killer and you rile George up, that'll get you on this show.
Okay, Dave Ramsey, okay. Well, you know, here's the thing. Dave can't throw stones and then hide his hands too. We all know Dave has been through bankruptcy. He has been a millionaire, I think, twice, and has lost all of his money and back at it at a third time. So yes, he's using his experiences to teach people about the way to avoid. But here's the thing. A lot of the teachings of Dave Ramsey, and this is the issue that I have with Dave Ramsey, is that a lot of his teachings are so conservative. A lot of them have you paying off debt until you have none left, which for most people, it will take them their entire lives to pay off debt. Some of the debt is unnecessary to pay off, especially if you are looking to invest your money. If you are spending all of your time paying off your debt, then the money that you could be investing, you can't invest because you're dropping it down on all of your debt, your mortgages, your cars, all this other stuff. I get it. There are sections of debt that you want to eliminate. Credit card debt is the worst. If you can get rid of your car debt, great. Mortgages, you can leave that on there. That's going to appreciate, I consider that good debt. Well, for Dave Ramsey, everything is bad debt. It is the worst debt you don't want it. You don't want any debt at all. So for individuals who literally just only want to pay off their debt, never invest, never really grow their money, but use their house as a vehicle to become quote unquote wealthy by paying off all the debt and being wealthy because you have no debt, but you have all of your money in your home, then that works. Dave Ramsey style works. Spending all of your money on debt, especially things that I would consider good debt like your home, it's just working backwards to me. Working backwards. Just imagine taking every dime and dollar you have and paying down your mortgage, and you want to invest. You want to put the money in stocks, or you want to put the money in anything that grows. Well, if you take all of your money and pay down your mortgage, then you will never have anything to invest.
Listen, here's the thing. Steve Harvey is a celebrity. He's a media mogul. He makes his money in a lot of ways. This young guy...
Being funny.
Yeah.
Is where he makes his money. So try that.
But to dole
more
out
often and you won't be $25 million in debt.
This idea that this guy's debt is a bad thing to pay off because it's other people's money and therefore it's good debt. And this is how you build wealth.
It just occurred to me. Steve Harvey is using other people's money.
There
Mine.
It is. Your money.
And yours. We're taxpayers. He hasn't paid his tax bill. $25 million worth. He is using OPM.
There you are. They figured it out. You're a detective.
Followed his own advice.
This is crazy.
Hey, he's living the dream.
Man, the condescending tone on that podcast is just through the roof. I'm not one to use those names like boomer and all, but you can just imagine the younger crowd looking at this and being like, why is it so condescending versus his words, when it comes to Steve Harvey saying that? Should have Steve Harvey said anything? No, he should have just left it alone. You don't really know the personal situation of that gentleman, right? You don't know, right? And I get where Dave Ramsey is coming from, but man, he comes at it at a point where he's just like, Steve Harvey, who is that guy? I don't know who he is. Oh, just stay in your lane and continue being funny. Be a clown. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, is there really any need for that? No, just say, I get it. Just entertainment, right? I get it. Instead, he just should have said, hey, Steve, that other people's money thing, it doesn't really work. Maybe this young man wants to pay off his debt because maybe he doesn't want to invest. Maybe his goal isn't to become rich and, grow his money and whatnot. Maybe he filed bankruptcy like Dave. Maybe. And here's another thing, guys. You have to understand that who you're getting your information from is based on their personal situation, right? So Dave, including me, Dave is giving information based off of him filing bankruptcy multiple times, right? So what is Dave going to tell you? Dave is going to say, hey, you don't want any debt because look, when I claimed bankruptcy, I was in tons of debt. And that's what caused me to go into bankruptcy to begin with. Debt. So if you avoid debt, you win. That's what Dave is going to say, right? But, it's based off of his experiences, guys. His experiences.
Use OPM. Let's use the taxpayers' money. Let's don't pay our taxes. $25 million in debt.
I would love to see Steve host a financial show and they call and say, Steve, I'd love to pay off my debt. Can you tell me how? And he goes, well, you got to get more debt, man. You're doing great. Keep it up. You're not quite there yet.
I can free up some cash flow for you. Don't pay your taxes.
That's one way to do it. Not a way I'd recommend.
Hey, listen, Steve, we would have left you alone, brother, but you know what happened? You stepped on a young man's dream, and you walked over into our garden when you did it, and so a pruning is in order. So that's what you're experiencing, young man. Stay in your lane, brother, and you'll be okay with us. We love you. We think you're funny. We think you're a great guy. Don't be a dream killer, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Stay in your lane. Continue to be funny. Man, this is rough. Continue to make us laugh, and we won't talk about you on this show. Whatever, man. Look, here's the thing. if you really Google that, what he was talking about, if you Google Steve Harvey, you will see that he actually did pay off his $25 million. So that story is, I think it was back in 2016 and whatnot. And once again, guys, it is experience. Steve Harvey, should you pay your taxes? Yes. Should Steve Harvey be giving out advice on a game show host? No, he shouldn't. But with that being said, Dave Ramsey has also had similar issues with claiming bankruptcy multiple times. Also, everybody goes through their experiences, and to act like you haven't went through that experience yourself when it comes to claiming bankruptcy or Steve Harvey not paying their taxes, to me, a little bit disingenuous, right?
And if that contestant is listening, I want you to call us up because we will actually help you.
Actually, we'll give them a free subscription for a year to Ramsey Plus so they can get into Financial Peace University and we'll get them out of debt.
I will
We're
personally...
quite the opposite of a dream killer.
Yeah.
Really?
I want to see that
We're like
dream
a
happen.
Make-A-Wish Foundation. We're on the other side of dream killer.
If you're out there listening, you're part of the Skeepers family that was on the Family Feud, hit me up. I will personally financially coach you because our friend Steve didn't do a good job of that.
Well, yeah. Condescending dream killer.
Man.
Really? Ain't going to happen.
Not going to happen. Sounds a
Use
lot like Eeyore.
OPM, other people's money. Use the taxpayers' money.
Now, Dave, I think what he's referring to
You
here...
know, if Steve calls us up, we'll help him with his tax debt.
If
we'll show
Steve
him how
calls
to
us
pay it
up,
off. We'll
it's
give him a
gonna
debt
be-
snowball with the IRS going.
I'll give him a free membership to Ramsey Plus. How's that?
You'll give him a debt snowball because then, he would actually help the general deficit with $25 million being repaid.
That is true.
Oh, here we go with this. He would be the general deficit if he just would. Man, I keep telling like these situations where people really do believe like that the amount of money that you pay on your taxes, these guys that are on back taxes, like a Steve Harvey, like it's really a drop in the bucket with the amount of money he is owed towards the vast amount of taxes that are being collected, right? It really is. It really is. Does that mean that Steve Harvey shouldn't pay his taxes? Of course not. Everybody should pay their taxes, but make it feel like if he doesn't pay back his taxes, then, oh, wow, it's going to really hurt the U.S., the deficit and all that. That's crazy. That's nonsense. And the man already paid it back, by the way. So that's neither here or there. The problem with this type of sentiment is it's based on a person's personal finance, guys. Once again, the word is personal finance. Some people do not want to invest, don't want to grow their money. They just want to stay where they are with the amount of income, and they just want to work down all of their debt. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. In that case, Dave Ramsey's program and everything is perfect. It's for that individual. It's when you want to grow your money. It's when you want to figure out what's more important to pay off now, but I also want to invest also and grow my money. If that's the realm you're in, listening to Dave Ramsey all the way to the very end, right, doing every single thing that he tells you to do is not going to set you up, in my opinion. Once again, my opinion. I don't think that's going to set you up for success.
Because the deficit.
I think he's repaid. I've got the article here.
Did he repay it?
It sounds like he
Oh, he worked his way out of it. Look at that. He did.
He had a few big deals come through.
Oh, wow.
A few big deals came through, and he
So
got it done.
so he's not the cause of the current deficit, just the past deficit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's using that OPM principle pretty well, though.
Well, what it comes down to is he's saying you've got to leverage as much debt as possible, and that is the key to wealth building.
Yeah.
Which is the antithesis to how you now.
So the people's money.
I love the lady in the background looking around going, is he serious right now? Did he really just say that?
What?
Oh, man.
They expect me to run out with like a rubber club or something and start hitting him out of the side. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. Well, that was fun.
He did get that, though. He made the show. 22 million listeners. So we just upped his ratings.
Now, the funny thing is Steve Harvey did say you need to leverage everything that you possibly can so that you can get more and more and more into debt. Unfortunately, that wasn't the time to mention it. It wasn't. Hey, look, I get it. It wasn't the right time to mention it because you cannot give that type of information and not really explain the details of it. But from my understanding and just from watching it, what I believe Steve Harvey was trying to say and trying to communicate is that once you get to a certain point, you want to use other people's money. You know how we talk about in real estate, or how I talk about in real estate, how about you want to leverage, you don't want to pay things off in cash. Like, you just don't want to go in and buy an investment property and pay all cash for it and not get a mortgage. You can only do that so many times. And using the power of leverage gives you a bigger return on your money. And that's just a known fact when it comes to investing. So I believe that maybe Steve Harvey was trying to say that also. But when you go onto a game show and you just spew and kind of just say it, a blanket statement like that, you give guys like Dave Ramsey to come in here to say, this is what he actually meant. It's just a bunch of people trying to say, oh, look, he meant this or he meant that, you know, on a game show host. And as far as the dream killer thing, I don't think that the man was crushed by Steve Harvey saying that. If the guy wants to pay off his debt, trust me, he's going to try to pay off his debt. So once again, guys, I hope you got value out of this content. I'm gonna need you to watch this next video here. It will help you get into your first rental property and learn all things financial. And please join our membership program and join the community. It's down in the description. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.